because, you know, look at that. Oh my god, it's like muzzle. Hey guys, it's Liz, and welcome to another episode of Retro Rebuild, the show where I rebuild my wardrobe from the ground up by hand. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my Dirndl dress make, which is a Butterick pattern. It's B6352, and it is a pattern by Gertie. I just love this pattern. It turned out so cute. So I really love the traditional Bavarian Dirndl look. So that's why I did the contrast sleeves, and everything else was the same material, because from what I've seen, that's kind of how Dirndls typically are. I did actually make a costume Dirndl from a Berta style pattern 2-3 years ago for Halloween actually, and I've worn it a few times since. That was really fun. I'll put some pictures up so you can see that. It seemed like it was going to be a very quick make, and it was coming along nicely and speedily and all that until I hit, well, a couple things. The sleeves ended up being a little bit trickier than I thought, just because I kind of had to, you know, troubleshoot the gathers and the bands and stuff like that, and also the ruffle. I had pretty much finished the entire dress up until the ruffle, and I thought, oh, it'll be so easy. What's difficult about a ruffle? Well, I've never done a ruffle before, and it wasn't difficult. It just was annoying more than anything. I used a rolled hem foot, narrow hem foot, one of those, but basically it rolls the fabric in on itself and creates a nice finish. Well, I think that the one I bought was a little bit too small for this fabric. Every about 6 inches or so it would kind of unroll itself, and I'd have a little spot where it didn't catch. So I had to go back and fix that. It took forever. Finally, about halfway through, I kind of wisened up and started to kind of pre-roll in a very specific way before putting it through the foot, because I was stubborn, and rather than just being like, okay, screw it, I'm just gonna do by hand, I was like, no, I'm gonna make this stupid foot work for me. So I figured it out, but I think that that's a good technique. Just get the right size one. Oh yeah, and then the gathering itself, the gathering of the ruffle, that sounds like a book title or something. The gathering of the ruffle. That was a bit tricky also, because it is so dang long. It's huge. The skirt itself is big, but then the ruffle is even bigger, and it took so long and it was so annoying. But what helped me, I think, was actually pinning it to the dress on the form. That just allowed me to kind of distribute a little more evenly. I did the quarters technique, where if you have two things that are different sizes and you need to attach them evenly, you mark out the 4 quadrants and then of each one, and then you match those up, and then you're able to kind of distribute evenly through all of those. So I did that, and it did work, and it was very helpful, so I would recommend that. So my inspiration for this one was, I guess, kind of storybook, princess, kind of, really storybook. The flowers and the ruffles and the pom-poms, and that's kind of where my brain was at, I guess. I love Dirndls. They're so beautiful, and I follow a few, well, one really, Dirndl maker on Instagram. She or he or they, I don't know. I don't know if it's a team, but whoever it is, they make the most beautiful Dirndls ever. They're more traditional, but that was kind of what I was envisioning as I was developing this look. So, you may have noticed that I do have a little extra something right here, a little modesty panel. And this is not part of the pattern. I just made it because, you know, sometimes you don't always want the girls out for a visit. You know, going out to dinner or something. Who cares, you know, let them be free. But, you know, if I was ever gonna want to wear this dress to work or somewhere a little bit more, you know, restrained, then it's just nice to have that covering. And if you're interested in learning how to make that, then check out this video for a little bonus. Love it! And I would give it 5 stars out of 5, or 5 thumbs up, or whatever 5 out of 5 thing you want to have. It fits really, really well. I barely had to do any adjustments to the fitting. A couple of things I did do. I took the slope of the shoulders here. It was too high, so I actually reduced it on each side by about 1/4 of an inch. To just kind of make the angle a little bit less steep, because my shoulders are kind of square, I suppose. So that was one. And then the other one, I actually only had the larger sizes for this one, the 14 through 22. So I did have to grade down in the waist 2 inches maybe from the 14. I think it ended up being maybe a 10 or a 12 in the waist, and I just basically took that measurement and then I divided it by however many seams there are here, and then I removed an equal amount from all of those except for the front one because I wanted that one to stay straight. So the only other fit adjustment that I had to make was basically the sleeve band. They were too tight. I was feeling very restricted, and that is like one of my ultimate pet peeves, is when clothing feels too tight, especially in the arms and the neck. Ugh. Anywhere near restricted, I'm never gonna wear it. So what I did was I just let out the seam on each one, the sleeve band, and you'll see that later, but that was all I had to do for that. And then I did adjust the gathers, and you will see more in detail in a moment also with that, but I adjusted the gathers to give myself a better range of motion. And other than that, that was it. I didn't have to do anything else. It was pretty much perfect. The skirt is huge and awesome, and it's so fun to just play with. Okay, so materials. I got this fabric from fabric.com. Surprise, surprise, I love fabric.com. It is a mostly cotton blend with, I'll fix it if I'm wrong, but basically some sort of spandex or stretchy thing, elastane, I don't know. But it's 95% cotton, I know that, because I wanted majority cotton. And so it does have a slight stretch. I don't know if you can really see that. And then the other thing is the pom-pom trim. I got that also on fabric.com. Now, the funny thing about this trim, and this is kind of like a happy accident, like make it work designer moment, but I think that they actually sent me the wrong size of pom-pom trim, because it is marked the same as this one in terms of the size. Yeah, so this one is a 3/8 inch pom. I ordered the same thing in 2 different colors. So that's the red, and then that's the white. And as you can see, not the same size. So I never contacted customer service. I kind of just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna roll with it. And I'm really glad that I did use the larger pom-poms, just because I feel like proportionally they look just as good, if not better, than the small pom-poms. because, you know, we've got the volume and the poof, we've got the big ruffly skirt with the, you know, pronounced ruffles. It just seemed like they fit really well. And then for the puff sleeves and my little modesty panel here, this is, I believe it's the same material that I used to make my Simplicity 1166 blouse, and if you're interested in that, then I will link it somewhere around here. So yeah, I just had it around. I mean, I didn't need much for that at all. Just, I don't know, maybe a quarter of a yard or half a yard or something. I don't know. And then the ruffle actually is a different material. It is one I had in my stash. It's probably from Joann's, but I'm pretty sure it is a cotton blend of some sort, some kind of cotton poly blend. I tried to do a burn test on it and the results were inconclusive. I've never done one before, but I know that that's a thing. I looked it up and then, yeah, it didn't really have a clear result either way, which makes me think that it's a blend. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. And then, oh, also the lining of the bodice is the same material. I don't know if I would really call this one easy. It's a little bit harder than easy, I feel like, but maybe not quite average, so kind of like somewhere in the middle. Just to get the really crisp finishing, it takes a bit of skill, I think. I mean, if you don't use any trim and if you don't do any extra like hand stitching and stuff like that, not that that's hard, but then yeah, I think it could be considered easy. But with all the stuff that I did, I would say that kind of kicked it up a notch a little bit. You're definitely capable of doing it. Don't feel discouraged or scared or any of that, but make sure you take your time and just be diligent in your placing of things. And you don't have to be a perfectionist, especially if something's not going to show. Like, you know, it's okay, but for stuff that is kind of like big problems, I would say take your time and unpick that and then go back and fix it. You'll have a better result in the end. Also, if something is uncomfortable, at least, I mean, I know some people have the mentality like beauty is pain and fashion is pain and whatever. That is not me. If something is not comfortable, I'm not gonna wear it, period. Probably the same is for you too. So that's kind of where I take my time, is really with the fit and trying to make sure it's gonna be actually comfortable, because I would hate to put in so much time into making something and then just not wear it because it's not comfortable, you know? So thank you again so much for watching this Dirndl dress episode of Retro Rebuild, and if you would like to continue on with me on my journey to a retro, entirely me-made wardrobe, then make sure you hit subscribe and like this video if you liked it. Please let me know if you also make a Dirndl dress. I would love to see what you make. I know there's a few people who have said that they're really interested in making this now. And also I have to say one more thing. So of course this pattern wouldn't be out without the pattern maker herself, Gertie, and Gretchen Hirsch. She's amazing if you're not aware, but I have a feeling you probably are if you're watching because you like retro sewing, vintage sewing. She works with Butterick. She has her own individual or independent pattern line now called Charm Patterns, and they're adorable. I've made a Rita and I have plans to make another and probably more. But yeah, Gertie, she's, you know, goals. She's amazing. But I actually had the chance to meet her, and this dress, I was actually trying to make this dress before I met her, and then I ran out of time. So I did actually wear a dress that I had made from another one of her patterns. Actually, it was a hack, and it was It was actually a hacked version of the 6354 where I attached the top and the skirt together at the waist seam, and so I had a nice little tiki dress, and I decided to wear that because it was the only other Gertie make that I had at the time. So I have many of her patterns and I plan on making all of them in the near future, but I just had to give a little shout out to Gertie because this pattern is awesome. So this video was going to become absolutely massive, so I decided to break it into two. If you'd like to see how I made the dirndl and possibly learn some tips and tricks, then check out this video. Come on, you know you wanna.